Welcome back. The news today takes us to the Netherlands. And they expelled a member for criticizing child sex abuse policy. I did not check the Elders book, but I do know in the Elders book that if you draw contention or someone's, not agreeing, they can get rid of you. It's all in the Elders book. They have lots of rules there that allow. We looked up disfellowshipping in the Elders book 130 times. It shows up. We looked up the word love. It showed up 6 times in the Elders book. So it's no wonder. We're going to look into this story and see what exactly happened. We're looking in the thumbnail there. That's the Bethel at the branch. So let's just move over to another screen here and take a look at the map and see where we're looking at. So here in the map, just behind me, I'll just move myself out of the picture. We see the dot right here. Where are we going? The Netherlands, right there. And we're going right here to a little area called Oss. That's where this incident took place, is in Oss. So we're going to go over to the Jehovah's Witness website, and I was kind of looking for a number, how many people are in the Netherlands, and I couldn't really find it. So I found this video. Let's just throw it on for a bit, and it kind of sums it up for us.
Are harmoniously working together to support pure worship. This was very evident during the World Headquarters visits to the Central Europe and Netherlands branches in May 2023 that my wife Judith and I were privileged to make in the company of Brother Pat Lafranca and his wife Alice. Around 3,000 Bethel family members and remote volunteers in Central Europe come from over 35 nationalities, while 15 nationalities are represented by around 470 Bethel family members and remote volunteers in the Netherlands. The Central Europe branch oversees the preaching work in the countries of Austria, Germany, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. That is carried out by more than 215,000 publishers in about 50 languages. They also print literature in about 200 languages and ship it to more than 80 countries. The Netherlands branch oversees more than 30,000 publishers and about 350 congregations and 50 groups that cover 20 different languages in the Netherlands. In cooperation with others, the Netherlands branch developed the JW Box, a tool that overcomes digital challenges and helps to spread the good news without being hindered by political borders.
Okay, so here's the Netherlands branch.
80 countries. The Netherlands branch oversees more than 30,000 publishers and about 350 congregations.
So 30,000 publishers, 350 congregations. So that gives you a little bit on Netherlands, the size of it, what's going on in Europe, this little video. I'll stick it at the bottom just for your reference if you want a little bit of an update. And now we're going to move into what is happening at Oss, in this little town called Oss. Now we got this area up here. Maybe it's not a town, Oss. I'm not sure. This is how it shows up on Google Maps. So we'll go right into the article that we're going to look at, and it's from the Netherlands Times, and it's kind of like the New York Times over in the Netherlands. And let's see if we can blow that up a little bit, and we'll take a look at this together. So the Netherlands Times, under crime, this is under the crime section. Crime, child abuse, Jehovah's Witnesses, this is how it shows up in the country. So Jehovah's Witnesses expelled a member for criticizing child sex abuse policy. So here's the story. The Jehovah's Witness expelled one of their members from the church community because he criticized how the community deals with the sexual abuse of children. Trouw reports, and Trouw is a news reporting. Now, the member involved is Bart van Gasteren from Oss, who tried to improve the position of sexual abuse victims from inside the Jehovah's Witnesses, according to the newspaper. Van Gasteren himself told Trouw that his persistent criticism of the sexual abuse policy was the direct reason for his expulsion. So he was disfellowshipped That was why he was disfellowshipped, for criticizing this sexual abuse policy. So if you guys are online there and you're in the congregation, you might want to be careful who you talk to about this stuff. Now, it goes on to say, underlying documentation shows that Van Gasteren criticized the business policy internally for years. So he was doing a bit of criticizing. Another church member confirmed this to Trau. Now, we go on to say here, the article says, the Jehovah's Witnesses acknowledged that Van Gasteren was no longer a member, but they denied that it had anything to do with his criticism. I doubt it. That's where they lie, right? They don't tell the whole truth. So it goes on to say the religious organization did not tell Trau why it expelled Van Gasteren. See, they don't tell the truth, or they hold out. And that's what they're doing in courts too. Now, the religious organization has always claimed that it encourages sexual abuse victims to file a police report. But, according to the critical members, there is a culture within the Jehovah's Witnesses to distrust the secular authorities, and the abuse cases are almost always handled internally. Utrecht University concluded in a study in 2020, and there's some links here, folks, and I'll link this article in the descriptions below, but there are some links here, these studies that were handled, and if you want more information, you can look into that. But this university concluded in 2020 that how Jehovah's Witnesses handle sex abuse is very traumatic for the victims, and I agree. So I'm glad to see that this is all coming out. Now, Reclaim Voices, an organization that represents sexual abuse victims within the Jehovah's Witnesses, called Van Gasteren's expulsion a new low. If every form of criticism is dismissed as undermining Jehovah, as in Bart's case, nothing can ever change, spokesperson Raymond Hittis told the newspaper. End of article. So, yes, things are happening in the Netherlands. Imagine that, getting expelled, getting disfellowshipped, because you're questioning the way the organization is handling and covering up these child sex abuse claims. Lobbying for to maintain in the U.S. the clergy penitent privilege, which about half of the U.S. states still have that, maintain that clergy class. They allow the clergy to get away with this stuff in about 50% of the U.S. states. So there's a lot of work to do, and it's happening all over the world. So when we see this happening in Netherlands, it's nothing new. It's hitting the papers. We're going to look at another paper or another article in their paper, and we're just going to move over to that. Now, this article is also from the Netherlands Times, and it shows a kind of in the picture there a little swing with no one swinging in it. The kids are all gone, and it's kind of like what the playgrounds are like at the Kingdom Halls. Everyone's leaving. So now nearly 300 reports of sexual abuse among Dutch Jehovah's Witnesses. This is the headlines of this report. It goes on to say the number of reports of sexual abuse within Jehovah's Witnesses now stands at 267 Reclaim Voices, a foundation that manages the hotline for this type of abuse, said newspaper Trouw. So that's kind of interesting, this Reclaim Voices, something to look into if you're in the Netherlands. Reclaim Voices was established last year after Trouw published the stories of a number of Jehovah's Witnesses who were abused during their youth. One victim called the religious group a paradise for pedophiles because the Jehovah's Witness elders tend to keep sexual abuse quiet. In the first week of its existence, the hotline received nearly 50 sexual abuse cases. According to the newspaper, the victims of the sexual abuse asked the Jehovah's Witness elders for a meeting to discuss this abuse 6 months ago, but still haven't heard anything. This has a big effect on the victims, Frank Houghton of the Reclaim Voices said to Trouw. They are angry. They haven't known where they stand for some time and feel disappointed about the entire process. They still aren't being heard, is what it comes down to. The minister Sandecker for the legal protection also instructed the leaders of Jehovah's Witnesses to start a conversation with the victims. And this is being asked for all over the world, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Australia, everywhere in the US, in every state, in Canada, in Japan, in Norway. Where do we start? Where do we stop? But they've so far maintained that they're not going to apologize. You see, they're coming from the standpoint in the 2023 annual meeting that and Jeffrey Winder brought this out, that this is all new light. Any changes that they make is new light. And he made it very clear there's no reason to apologize. We just had old light. We have changes now, it's new light. And this is how they're pitching this to the audience. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next within this organization, to see how they're going to handle some of this stuff. But folks, this is the news for today. This is what's happening. This is the rest of the story. So thanks again, and until next time, keep living your life with love. Bye for now.